Redefinition.
I think one thing I learned from retreat is how powerful prayer can be.
So this is the first night of Chi Alpha Winter Retreat. Alicia Chole was just speaking tonight, which really speaks to me a lot because she was also a former atheist. I'm a former agnostic. A lot of the things that she was saying, you could really tell were not just things that she stole from some sermon outline or anything like that, but they're things that she's lived, things that she's walked through, and areas where she's actually experienced victory and is still walking even with us.
Purpose.
We need to choose to always be mindful of bringing God forth in our lives in all aspects.
The book of Hebrews, in chapter 2, verse 10, it says, "In bringing many sons to glory, it was fitting that God, for whom and through whom everything exists, should make the author of their salvation perfect through suffering." I've been challenged to think about looking at my own suffering in ways that I haven't before. And I plan on getting challenged more, especially in areas where some of the things that I try to run away from, things that I'm afraid of, try to see where it is that I'm not facing something. I feel like a lot of times we're being bombarded by all of these. Everything's competing for our attention. Everything is what's the next big thing to, go from this thing to the next, and we don't have time to reflect on any one thing too long. With everything competing, we have to sort of stick with one thing and just truly reflect on it.
Gravity comes like a cold, cold rain to lead me to the rope again. Someone is standing in my place.
Intercession.
What I took away from retreat is to pray, and then to pray more, and then when I can't pray anymore, to keep praying.
So the first couple of nights, I just thought we had some really amazing times of community prayer in the prayer room where just the spirit fell, I guess is the only way to put it. I just heard people in this community pray in ways I've never heard them pray before, and just with an intensity I've never heard of a lot of people before. That was really beautiful and really amazing.
I know that something God has called me personally to is intercession, and it's something I whine about all the time. God, I didn't want to do it, it's too hard, it's too lonely, or any mix of variables that I tell God are a reason why I can't possibly fill out my calling. And in that moment, He just told me that you don't understand how great the calling of an intercessor is.
I was just really, really convicted by retreat to just amp up my prayer life to a level that it hasn't been before. Because I think what God really just said to me was, you asked me for so many things. You want to see restoration and healing in your family. You want to see revival on your campus. You want to see me breathe healing into the people you know in ways that you can't even dream of. But right now your prayer life is completely insufficient to sustain that.
And what God was just telling me is that before I start running off in a million directions, seeking His will and seeking His kingdom and seeking revival and seeking healing, I have to get on my knees.
I learned the importance of processing everything that we've dealt with in the past.
A lot of the sermon really hit me like a ton of bricks because a lot of it was talking about pain. I have chronic depression. I've been suffering that about maybe since I was 16. A lot of times it's been really hard. I feel like I'm very handicapped in that respect. And in addition to that, a lot of my past in the charismatic church has been very wounded. People have said really terrible things to me. People have made me turn away from God, maybe become the agnostic where I was. And what I realized is what she was saying is that I don't have to define myself by my wounds. I don't have to live in that pain. And that the more I define myself by my wounds, the more I'm saying that, okay, God, I'm just content just sitting in my pain right now. And I'm not willing to move on. And for the first time in probably, I'd say 3 years, I felt myself just kneeling and just praying to God that I could just lay down all the wounds of my life, that I didn't have to identify myself with the things that Christ brought me out of, rather to identify myself with the things that Christ is bringing me into. And for the first time in my life, I worshiped God with passion, with emotion, but not like in the past, but rather it was authentic and peaceful and a contentness and a love that truly just surpasses all understanding. And that is the beautiful, amazing, scary thing about following Christ.
Influence is internal authority.
Jesus-style influence is not measured by how people treat you.
Mission.